You are now listening to the smooth, mellifluous sounds of Red's Room Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to episode number 28 of the Red's Room Podcast. I'm your host, Red.
And I'm your co-host, Jake.
And today we are talking about the war on drugs.
Fuck yeah.
As always, our references are in the episode description. Please look them up and see all the articles I rip all this stuff off of that I read.
Yeah.
So, for those unfamiliar, I'm going to read a couple paragraphs here that give you an introduction to what the war on drugs is. So, the war on drugs is the policy of a global campaign led by the United States federal government of drug prohibition, military aid, and military intervention, with the aim of reducing the illegal drug trade in the United States. The initiative includes a set of drug policies that are intended to discourage the production, distribution, and consumption of psychoactive drugs that the participating governments in the United Nations have made illegal. The term was coined by President Richard Nixon and popularized by the media shortly after a press conference given on June 18th, 1971. The day after publication of a special message from President Nixon to the Congress on drug abuse prevention and control, during which he declared drug abuse public enemy number one.
Yep.
I think of the song every time I read that. So, that message to the Congress included text about devoting more federal resources to the prevention of new addicts and the rehabilitation of those who are addicted. But that part did not receive the same public attention as the term war on drugs. 2 years prior to this, Nixon had formally declared a war on drugs that would be directed toward eradication, interdiction, and incarceration. In 2015, the Drug Policy Alliance, which advocates for the end of the war on drugs, estimated that the United States spends $51 billion annually on these initiatives, and in 2021, after 50 years of the drug war, others have estimated that the U.S. has spent a cumulative $1 trillion on it.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, that's the war on drugs.
I wrote that same thing down, that we have just, the United States government has just spent a shit load of money on this quote-unquote war on drugs, and we're going to get into it over time, but man, a lot of wasted money and fucking just time on this whole quote-unquote war on drugs.
Man, it's definitely fattened so many politicians' wallets.
Oh, 100%. The amount of money being fucking tossed around.
Dude, in 50 years, I'd be surprised if they've only spent $1 trillion.
You think it's more than that?
I would not be surprised if it was more than that.
What are we, like, the national United States debt is what? We're like around 20 trillion or whatever.
I think you're correct. Yeah,
Fucking,
something like that.
Even just 1 trillion of that to stop just your average Joe from getting a couple puffs in of whatever he likes. It's fucking crazy, man.
It's insane. It's insane. So in respect, we're gonna smoke these stogies.
Yeah, couple cigars
and drink some beer.
Yeah,
the good old legal American drugs.
Yeah, we're going full on legal. Maybe when our state decides to make weed legal, we'll smoke a spliff or a full on joint or something for y'all. But
what's that like? I've never had marijuana.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck that is, man.
I don't even know what it smells like. To be honest. Yeah, no, when it's legal, yeah, definitely. Hey, if psychedelics get legal, I would be down to do one on shrooms.
Oh my god! Didn't I think Joe and Ari and Eddie and Joey did an acid or a shroom podcast one time.
I think they've done a couple, but he did one with Post Malone on shrooms.
Were they on shrooms?
I think so.
I could see it.
Man, I don't know how well I'd function. I'd probably be trying to talk to God or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be a great podcast.
Oh, this is a great intro to the war on drugs.
Fuck yeah.
So, you guys ready for a little more background here?
Let's fucking do it, man. This one goes deep.
I'm just fueling up. Okay.
So we started off with Nixon here, and now we're going to progress. We're going to...
Yeah, we're going to talk about the next big dog here, Reagan. So, in 1973, the Drug Enforcement Administration was created to replace the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. The Nixon administration also repealed the federal 2 to 10 year mandatory minimum sentences for possession of marijuana and started federal demand reduction programs and drug treatment programs. Robert DuPont, I thought it was interesting DuPont came up again because they came up in making marijuana illegal.
Yes.
So anyways, Robert DuPont, the drug czar and the Nixon administration said it would be more accurate to say that Nixon ended rather than launched the war on drugs. DuPont also argued that it was the proponents of drug legalization and popularization of drug legislation that popularized the term war on drugs.
Yeah.
Sorry, I butchered that for a minute. But yeah, I don't understand why we're going with DuPont here. And to me, what he's saying here, to me, kind of reveals his intentions.
Okay.
If that's a way to put it.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's trying to make it sound like Nixon is not after drugs when, in fact, he is. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Which to me just lets you know all the more that he's totally trying to bullshit you and get them illegal.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, of course. There's a lot of, God, I almost want to say fear-mongery, fucking bullshit, backdoor profits, fucking...
Oh, yeah.
And maybe just the general almost hatred for drugs. Just, I don't like them, you know? There's been like quotes of Nixon just generally not liking drugs in general, which I think kind of plays a part. Not just him. There's many others, but
yeah,
you know, I don't like drugs. Fuck them. Drink as much alcohol as you want, but you can't smoke a joint.
Pretty much. You can have all the cigars and tobacco and all the booze you want, but God forbid you smoke a joint.
Yeah. Enjoy your lung and liver cancer, but you cannot enjoy a fucking just a little joint.
We'll get into that a little more too. I got a little more on that, but that is some of the mentality for sure. So, getting more into Reagan. That was just the first paragraph. The presidency of Ronald Reagan saw an expansion in the federal focus of preventing drug abuse and for prosecuting offenders. Reagan signed the Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1984, which expanded penalties towards possession of cannabis, established a federal system of mandatory minimum sentences, and established procedures for civil asset forfeiture. From 1980 to 1984, the federal annual budget of the FBI's drug enforcement units went from $8 million to...
Yeah, I have it written
guess?
down as well.
Oh, you got it?
I have it.
$95 million. They went from 8 to 95 million. Is that not ridiculous?
We're like 12xing the amount in budget that is just going to the war on drugs. It's fucking crazy. And, you know, I referenced our debt. I mean, that's got to be a part of it, man. The war on drugs, that's a big part of the debt of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we already got the military-industrial complex spending trillions, and then we're spending millions every year on just making sure people don't smoke pot.
Mostly, that's like almost some of the big two of our debt is the military industrial complex and the war on drugs. Like, that's got to account for at least a percentage.
Hey, that's
of
an
how
episode we
fat
got
our
to do.
fucking debt is.
Military industrial complex.
Oh,
will be
for
one
su-
we do for sure.
We've definitely talked about it, like in a bunch of our CIA episodes. We've kind of
Yes.
referenced it a little bit, but it's definitely.
I think in 9/11 episode we talked about it too.
I think Northwoods we talked about it. There's definitely a big fucking issue with the whole idea. I feel like everyone knows it. Like, war can be profitable, and
Can it? Can you make money on war?
oh, you think? Yeah, there's.
I thought we were just fighting terrorism.
Yeah, there's definitely some profit to be made.
Like, you think we get oil or something? I don't know. I heard a rumor.
In this little pea brain here, I don't fucking know, but you can definitely think.
Yeah, this is ridiculous how much money we're spending on stopping dopers. Like, oh my god, 95 million.
Yeah, dopers. I think in the last those damn dope peddlers peddling dope.
I think it's from the Reefer Madness
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Those
Exactly.
dopers. We
Exactly.
gotta get those dopers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read another paragraph here
Okay.
on this.
Back on track.
According to historian Elizabeth Hinton, Reagan was a strong proponent of criminalizing drug users during his presidency in the 80s. She wrote that he led Congress in criminalizing drug users, especially, drumroll, African American drug users.
Yeah.
Racism again.
Definitely.
By concentrating and stiffening penalties for the possession of the crystalline rock form of cocaine known as crack, rather than the crystallized methamphetamine that White House officials recognized was as much of a problem among low-income white Americans. Support for Reagan's crime legislation was bipartisan. According to Hinton, Democrats supported his legislation as they had since the Johnson administration, though Reagan was a Republican. So basically, everyone was on board because of racism.
Definitely. It's like they saw crack, a bunch of African American, I guess you could say it was popular in that community, and it's pretty obvious kind of how you're explaining this of what is really going on here.
Yes, even though crack is almost the same drug as meth.
Yeah, it's just it's free-based or whatever. Fucking
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it, but I will tell you there's no reason why crack was demonized more than meth.
And
they're almost the same drug.
If you're reading in between the lines here, I guess crack was pretty dominant in just African Americans, so they want to pin that, and it's just an easy pigeonhole you into this area, and it's fucking sad, but
Yeah,
it's just that's what it is.
yeah. It's I was surprised. I knew it was a factor, but I was surprised when we dug into this, and we also dug into Reefer Madness, how much racism had a part in it.
Oh yeah,
It's a big part of it.
the wiki just straight up fucking says it. And there's other
Right.
things, like I'll get into stop and frisk or other shit later, but like African American, Latino based people, like seems like there's kind of a little bit of targeting there. And definitely some targeting, and it's fucking sad, but we're gonna cover this topic. We're gonna do it justice, and that's really what the fuck it is in at least some of the scenarios.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to do it as much justice as we can. And yeah, I don't like all the hate for Latinos. I have a big part of my family's Latinos, and I know I don't look like it. I'm Irish and Mexican, but I take it a little personal. I don't like how they describe them, especially in the Reefer Madness one. The evil Mexican, evil Latino threat, Those were terms that they were using in the Reefer Madness.
A lot of
video
marijuana
we
stuff that gets
over
pigeonholed.
marijuana. Yeah,
And I don't have the like ethnicity that you have. I'm really just a European fuck in general. But
that's okay too.
But
Nothing wrong with that.
I definitely align with you in just a lot of this bullshit. It's very sad.
It is very sad that in this day and age, we are still cracking down on these policies that were fueled by racism.
Marijuana is still a Schedule 1 narcotic.
Keep
Keep that in your mind, folks.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. In my opinion, neither should psychedelic drugs.
Oh, you're gonna come to my house because I found some couple shrooms underneath some cow shit. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Which we'll get to that a little. And here, let me just read this sentence, and then we'll say this. I had one more sentence on this section.
Yeah, let's do it.
John Ehrlichman.
It was tough for me to pronounce that name as well.
Yeah. John Ehrlichman, an aide to Nixon, said that Nixon used the war on drugs to criminalize and disrupt black, which we've already said, but here's the other one, and hippie communities and their leaders. That's where psychedelics got really fucked. So Nixon hated hippies. So, hey, like you said, white people, he hated poor white people too. He hated hippies too.
At least there was a general hatred for a wide variety of people, but it is kind of crazy too how, at least in my head and probably a lot of y'all's, we kind of think of hippies and psychedelics almost synonymously. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
definitely,
especially
I definitely
that
think
80s,
of hippies with psychedelics,
that
for
70s, 80s era, and we have, everyone has heard of like fucking the one kid does too much acid and he turns into a glass of orange juice. He thinks he's a fucking glass of orange juice now. And it's
what?
Like, you've never heard that?
No, I never heard that one.
Oh, it's out there. There's definitely a few people listening that have heard of that. But
I just think of like trippy rainbow tapestries and with hippies, and I just think of
rock music.
I think of Hendrix just
exactly
annihilating
Jimi Hendrix.
the guitar.
Yeah,
and yeah. Which, by the way, there was some influence in that on this pyramid with the rainbow pyramid. So, I mean, yeah. So a lot of hate. Nixon hated hippies. I think a lot of that though was because of the protest of the Vietnam War.
Make love, not war. Fucking that whole movement.
I think that is where hippies got targeted.
Oh yeah, and that just the whole Vietnam, like that was a big L for the United States just in general.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that's where they really got thrown in and targeted, and now they hate hippies just like they hate African Americans. They threw them in the same category, and
yeah, exactly. Pile them in, get them into one category, label them, and it's a lot easier to get whatever motive, get whatever said people's goals done. And labeling people and putting them in a box and showing how bad it is and how terrible these drugs are it's a pretty easy way to do it. And I mean, they got it done. They did it.
To them, hey, you don't want to support war? You don't want to get drunk and support war with all of us, and you want to smoke weed and be peaceable? Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's almost like they look at it as like a threat.
I think they do. Personally, I think they do. I think they do look at it as a threat.
I can't confirm that, but just in my head and in your head as well, that's what it kind of seems like.
It is kind of a threat to the American way.
Yes.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't.
It should not be. I'm going to go into this next part.
All right. Back on track here.
Yeah. 21st century. In the early 21st century, the war on drugs began to be referred to, as the new Jim Crow. This mentality was further popularized by lawyer and civil rights advocate Michelle. Is that Michelle or Michael? I never know. Alexander.
Michelle.
who wrote
Michael, fuck.
The New Jim Crow: Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness in 2010.
So this is recent.
Yeah, much more recent. At the turn of the century, incarceration rates in the United States disproportionately consisted of African American men. According to an article from the American Civil Liberties Union in 2001, the number of black men in prison had already equaled the number of men enslaved in 1820.
Mm-hmm.
With the current momentum of the drug war fueling an ever-expanding prison industrial complex, if current trends continue, only 15 years remain before the United States incarcerates as many African American men as were forced into chattel bondage at slavery's peak in 1860. Is that word? Chattel?
That's how I would say
I don't know
it.
what that means. But in bondage.
Chattel, maybe.
And it's an old word. In 1860. So, like, there's already more African Americans enslaved than there ever were slaves.
And, you know,
in
incarcerated
prisons than ever there were
And
slaves, which is insane, right?
Definitely. Even not just African Americans, Latino, even white people, just the grand scheme of
Right.
things. The United States has a big incarceration problem just
Right.
in general. I have a
Which, by the way,
Mhm.
people think that they don't try to like incarcerate white people. Actually, nowadays,
it's getting there.
I wanna bring up when they find a white guy that they can hit with a crime, they try to hammer him way harder because they want to reverse these stats.
Yes, a stat they created. Now
A
they're
stat
trying
that
to.
they created
Yeah,
disproportionately on purpose.
One quote I had from the wiki right here. A lot of this is from the wiki. Like this is.
Can I just finish?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
thought?
yeah, yeah. My bad.
I just want to finish that. I just want people to know that there was a time where being white protected you, but it's no more. Now they want to hammer you harder than ever.
As far as this is concerned, yes.
As far as this is concerned, actually, it's for any crime. They're trying
Okay.
They are trying to get more white people in prison now because they want to reverse this stat.
the thing they fucked up.
That they fucked up because of their own racism. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's another level on their own
Fuckery.
fucked upness. Yeah, fuckery. Your thought.
Oh, I just had this one quote. It'll be in the description. This is from the wiki. According to the latest available data at the World Prison Brief on May 7th, 2023, the United States has the 6th highest incarceration rate in the world, 531 people per 100,000. If you just kind of think of how
That's
grateful,
ridiculous.
yeah, how grateful we are in this country and how like good this country is compared, it's a perspective thing that we have a shitload of people locked up just in general.
Right. Well, they've created a new slave system through the prisons here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. That's something else we're gonna have to cover. We're gonna have to cover the prisons.
And definitely, I have some personal experience with this with family, and
We do.
It can be pretty fucking rough what they try to throw on you just for some simple drug charges, But
Oh yeah, they try to hammer you.
oh yeah, I have some friends and some family that have been done
Right.
pretty dirty, but we'll leave that out. But
We'll leave it out.
you can understand
We
where
got some Breaking Bad relatives, basically.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm with you. It's tough, man. It's this war on drugs, it does a lot more harm than good, in my opinion.
We're definitely gonna pan over and make it seem more clear, which I feel like it's already pretty clear, but we'll keep going here. We'll keep going.
Yeah, we got facts on our side.
Mm-hmm.
Let me finish this.
Fuck yeah, we got some facts, man.
Yeah, this one's a little personal for us. You mind get me a refill, Jake?
I'm on it. I'm fucking on it. It's definitely a little personal for us. I feel like
Oh, you're showing them what we have? We're having Stella. Stella, we're down for a... we're down
go.
for an endorsement. We like Stella.
yeah, Stella, you wanna hit us up?
We have a delicious beer that has nothing to do with the war on drugs.
No.
Also, yeah, I'm down for another stogie too. So, anyways, sorry for that for those of you on audio. I'm going to read some more here, give you some more facts. During his time in office, Barack Obama implemented a tough but smart approach to the war on drugs. While he claimed that his method differed from those of previous presidencies, in reality, his practices were very similar. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I was with a lot of people that when Obama got in there, I was hoping he was going to bring some justice to this.
I mean, that's the hope of any president in a lot of ways.
It is, but, you know, being that he was African American himself, we were really hoping to see, you know,
Some progress on the war on drugs.
on this, yes, definitely, and also on the legalization of cannabis. Both of them. We were hoping to see some progress, and we didn't. He didn't really differ, and it's just a shame. Continuing the reading here. An international group called the Global Commission on Drug Policy, composed of former heads of state and government, released a report on June 2nd, 2011, stating that the global war on drugs has failed. The commission was made up of 22 self-appointed members, including a number of prominent international politicians and writers. U.S. Surgeon General Regina Benjamin also released the first ever national prevention strategy, a framework for preventing drug abuse and promoting healthy, active lifestyles. So yeah, I think we covered that section pretty good already.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have any more comments on that, other than the war on drugs is a complete and utter failure.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. has dropped billions, possibly trillions of dollars on this, and it's gone nowhere.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's still a drug issue. Like,
Right. If anything, all we have done is we have propped up the Mexican cartel, in my opinion.
okay, so to get into that, I think that kind of delves into the idea of supply and demand, to where they tried to address the supply of drugs but didn't really address the demand of them. Whether it's a mental health thing, whether it's just a want
Right.
for it,
Right.
whether, you take away overseas smuggling of drugs and then it starts to get made here. And when you address the smaller people that are making it here, then it comes from the border. And it's just a never-ending idea of, it doesn't matter how expensive the drugs get, at least within reason, people are still going to buy them. I mean, hypothetically, if you're a Coke fiend and the prices go up, maybe you're going to buy a little less Coke, but you're still going to fucking buy it,
You're not going to buy less.
You'll figure a way out.
You'll steal more.
Hey, like Joey Diaz says, fuck Einstein. Addicts get creative, man.
Joey Diaz is the GOAT.
Yeah, they fucking get creative. They will find a way to get what they want. But
Yeah, I mean, if you're an addict like that, yeah, you'll find a way.
no, you're gonna find a fucking way, and it's crazy how
they
much
have.
money.
They've propped up criminal organizations. It's just like when they had the prohibition on alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
They propped up these criminal organizations who were running bootleg
Oh, exactly.
moonshine.
And then
It's how Al Capone got to power.
exactly. Then speakeasies start coming through. I don't know if y'all know the.
Yeah, and they were delivering it to the White House.
Oh, for
You know?
sure they were getting fucking
And
drunk.
I hear now there was crack in the White House.
oh, the cocaine, or wasn't it cocaine?
Maybe it was.
Yeah,
They called
Yeah.
it cocaine.
They
They called it cocaine because they're white. But yeah, they had coke. I want to say crack. They had crack in the White House.
Dude, oh my God. Yeah. Haven't they still not found who? It'll never be found.
That's
who,
bullshit.
Yeah.
They know who it was.
They
Yeah.
Dude, how many fucking cameras are in that place? But anyway,
There's no
Yeah.
way they did not know whose that was.
I don't want to get too sidetracked, but there definitely
Yeah.
is some weird shit going around. Where is the cameras? Anyway, but
Anyways, it's in the White House.
yeah, it's everywhere, dude.
It's in the White House, and we're ignoring that.
Mhm.
We're ignoring it. We're ignoring we have this war on drugs. We're ignoring it. Just like, to me, I'm drawing a correlation here to the prohibition on alcohol. They had alcohol in the White House during the prohibition and ignored it.
Yeah.
Right now, we know for sure that there is drugs in the White House, and we're ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
People want to do drugs.
Just
Just let them.
Exactly. I mean, obviously there is the ground of like if you're hurting someone else, it's different. But
Right.
I mean, if you're just doing it to yourself, I mean, who else are you fucking hurting, man?
We're going to act like this tobacco isn't a drug. We're going to act like this beer isn't a
Exactly.
drug. It's a
They're
You're
all
gonna act
drugs.
like when you wake up in the morning and you drink a cup of coffee, it's not a drug.
That caffeine is affecting your brain.
I
dude.
love coffee. I can't start my day without it.
Yeah,
I
the
just drink
majority
black
of
coffee.
Americans.
It's a drug.
Mm-hmm.
If you add sugar to it, that sugar is another drug.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, maybe I'm getting too preachy here, but we're a society that runs on drugs.
I mean, even if we go back to World War II, the Nazis and the
Oh,
if
man.
we look at the Japanese kamikazes, a lot of those guys were fucking strung out, man.
Were the kamikazes on meth?
Yeah. Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the Nazis were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on meth.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can fight longer. You don't have to eat as much. You can just fucking go.
Yeah, meth keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a famous story about Hitler being injected with liquid cocaine.
Yeah, and talking.
To Stalin.
He talking his ear off.
Yeah, to keep him in the war.
Yeah, dude, he fucking talked Stalin's ear off. He was amphetamine up.
I can't imagine a liquid cocaine fueled Hitler rant. Had to be insane. I would like to witness one, honestly.
Dude, I would love to witness one, but there might be a few points during his ramble that I'm like, yo, I need a break.
Oh, I
From
definitely.
this shit, like-
it had to be like he had to just bulldoze his
yeah.
view onto you to where you just agreed because he was so fucking insane.
Just drugged the fuck up, man.
I can't imagine that. That had to be crazy. I mean, just seeing the guy's speeches.
They're pretty intense,
Dude,
man.
he looks insane.
He does look insane.
Anyway, sorry guys for the side rant. Let's stick to the topic.
All right, get
War
back
on drugs.
track here.
Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
Yes, don't do
Okay.
drugs, kids.
So the next topic, public support and opposition. The war on drugs has been a contentious issue since its inception. A poll on October 2nd, 2008 found that 3 in 4 Americans believed that the war on drugs was failing.
75%. That's a good stat right there.
That is. The social consequences of the drug war have been widely criticized by such organizations as the American Civil Liberties Union as being racially biased against minorities and disproportionately responsible for the exploding United States prison population. According to a report commissioned by the Drug Policy Alliance and released in March 2006 by the Justice Policy Institution, America's drug-free zones are ineffective at keeping youths away from drugs and instead create strong racial disparities in the judicial system. In 2014, a Pew Research Center poll found more than 6 in 10 Americans state that state governments moving away from mandatory prison terms for drug law violations is a good thing, while 3 out of 10 Americans say these policy changes are a bad thing. This is a substantial shift from the same poll question since 2001. In 2014, a Pew Research Center poll found that 67% of Americans feel that a movement towards treatment for drugs like cocaine and heroin is better versus the 26% who feel that prosecution is the better route.
So
One-
we got, yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
One more. In 2018, a Rasmussen report poll found that less than 10% of Americans think that the war on drugs is being won, and that 75% found that Americans believe that America is not winning the war on drugs.
So we got the majority thinking that the war on drugs is an L. We got a small percentage thinking that prosecution and locking people up is the way to go. And then we got a small percentage that seem to be kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to go to? A Puritan society?
Yeah, we all going to become Quakers or something.
Like all we
Fucking-
have now is where we're classifying some drugs as not drugs so that we can do them,
Yeah.
and then demonizing other drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys, I'm being very opinionated here.
No, you're good. Well, we have had some advancements over the years. More recently, obviously, we have more state legalizing marijuana. We also have things like ketamine therapy that are popping up nowadays that can
Yeah.
help people. Ketamine was,
Which I did a ketamine.
I don't know if
therapy.
I don't want to put you on the spot here.
I did a ketamine therapy because I have suffered from major depression and some other issues and post-traumatic stress and things, and I found it to be
You got some good results.
way more helpful than in the past. When I was younger, I had tried different antidepressants and I hated them, and I just went off of them and dealt with it on my own. The majority of my life, I've dealt with it on my own. Trying to sum this up. I don't want to get too much to myself.
Yeah.
And
I think it's interesting, though.
also I have ADHD really bad. I tried what's the drug for ADHD?
Adderall?
Adderall. I tried that for a while. I felt awesome, but I didn't take it for very long because I felt like I was just doing meth. Honestly,
Yeah. You feel kind of zombified in a way.
it felt great. No,
Yeah.
I didn't feel zombified.
Okay.
I
It
felt
did-
great. Like
yeah.
I got more work done than ever, but I just didn't feel like it was sustainable long term, natural.
Didn't feel right.
I didn't stay on it. I don't like feeling super drugged up a lot. I like more mild things. So I went off all those, but I tried the ketamine therapy. I'm 100% advocate. I did that.
Yeah.
I haven't felt depression since. I felt like it really reprogrammed my brain in a way
Yeah.
that nothing else has. It really helped. And maybe that was with some of the other work I did on myself
Oh, for sure.
during that time.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm a big advocate for it. I think it's awesome.
No, ketamine's crazy because it's supposed to be just a straight up anesthetic, but used in certain situations, it can be used as an anti-anxiety, antidepressant. And I think that's
Right.
what's really crazy about drugs in general. I don't know if I guess I should have dove into this and done a little more research, but different drugs affect people differently culturally.
That's true too.
Different drugs have different effectiveness in different cultures, like just the way you think about it,
I feel
the
like
way
this
you go
applies
and doing
more
it.
to psychedelics.
Oh, I mean, yes, but even ketamine, for example, and it does have psychedelic properties, but
Well, I would just say the thing about and we will do an episode on psychedelics specifically at some point.
we will.
But the thing about psychedelics is if you take them with a certain intention, it has a different effect. So if you just want to drop acid and go
just
to a
get fucked
concert
up,
and fuck
yeah.
around and get fucked up, you're not going to get anything out of that. But if you want to go into a dark room and you want to take psychedelics,
if you prepare that setting,
and you are setting up a more shamanistic environment with
Mm-hmm.
an intention, and you're like, I want to face my inner demons and I want to become a better version of myself,
Mm-hmm.
you will have a profound,
just a better experience.
it will be a spiritual, religious experience that will change your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how they react to your brain, you know?
definitely.
Yeah, it's a very
Intention-
interesting thing. Yeah.
Intention is definitely a just big part in taking
Right.
drugs in general, and I feel like that is one of the things that the war on drugs has failed on, is just straight up
Right.
education in general. That
Yes, education's important.
Definitely.
It needs to be unbiased education.
Definitely.
It can't be reefer madness. It needs to be unbiased.
yes, because there is downsides to certain drugs.
There's
you know?
huge but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
upsides too. You know what? Do you want to get your concrete done? Do some Adderall.
Yes, and you will pour that
You
fucking
think-
mud quicker than.
You think the Mexican crews aren't doing coke?
I mean,
I'm saying that unracially. I am speaking as being part Mexican myself. I have relative. I mean, I work in construction. I know a bunch of guys. You think guys aren't doing coke building that shit?
or just anything. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know how many people I know in construction that are doing Adderall?
Adderall is a big problem in the construction industry. Me and Red here, we both work construction, and there is many people that we know
Right.
that
Which, sorry, to me, I don't view them that different.
Yeah, I don't-
Coke and Adderall, I really don't.
personally, I don't give a fuck. Like, a lot of those guys are very normal. They like to do or need that
Yeah.
certain thing.
And like I said, I've done it. I was prescribed it and did it myself.
yeah, and
I got a lot of work done, man. I got a lot of work done.
yeah, there is definitely
There's benefits.
yeah, and I want to go back to Kratom. I referenced it on our last episode, Reefer Madness.
Kratom is a good.
Kratom,
it's a good one. It's a legal one.
in like third world countries. A lot of those guys have hard days. They work hard, and Kratom was just something to make their day just a little bit easier. And it was
Right.
illegal in the United States for a long time, up until
Which is
more
amazing
recent.
because
Yeah.
it's a very mild
very
thing.
mild.
It doesn't. There's no crazy effects on that.
No, it doesn't get you fucked up.
You do not get any type of intoxicated on Kratom.
Yeah, it was the sole purpose was just to make your day just a little bit easier. No, those hard 10-hour days in the factories that these very hardworking people are working, they just take it to make their day a little easier,
Right.
and they fucking get rid of it here.
Yeah, it's but it's legal now.
Yeah, it is legal now. It is legal now.
yeah.
You know, there's just definitely a bunch of problems just in general with big pharma and
Agreed.
just profits in general. That this thing is not that bad for you and it works pretty good. We need to get fucking rid of it. Is
Yeah.
almost their mindset.
I think you touched on a huge problem here, and it's big pharma.
Definitely.
It's big pharma. If these things, they want these illegal so that they can make a designer drug that does the same thing that they can prescribe and sell to you.
Exactly. Today
They
yeah.
want to make crack and meth and cocaine illegal,
and yeah,
and then they want to prescribe you Adderall that does the same thing.
it's just a pure form. That's all it is.
Yeah,
They're all amphetamines. There's definitely a
And
big,
the same with
yeah.
opium. Opium
Oh,
is the same way. They want to
painkillers.
make heroin and poppy totally illegal, and then
here's your Oxycontin.
every painkiller that they prescribe you is derived from the same thing.
Exactly.
They just need to make the molecule one they can copyright that they can sell you.
Exactly. Nowadays, fentanyl, however you would like to pronounce
Oh,
it.
fentanyl is a terrible one.
It's a really big issue nowadays, and I believe fentanyl originally was created as a non-addictive
So they say.
painkiller, and it's a derivative of I believe heroin or Oxycontin. It's gonna
I think fentanyl. I think your body develops it. I don't think you can be allergic to fentanyl.
Oh, okay, interesting.
It was supposed to be a replacement for morphine when it came out.
Morphine. That's what I was thinking. Yes,
I hope I'm not talking. Out my ass here.
I believe it was morphine or heroin. It was built as an alternative, a safer, non-addictive version of those substances, and obviously
non-addictive, whatever.
Obviously, it's going to be fucking addictive. But
that's another thing. They skew those studies to say things are non-addictive that are addictive because they want to push them out there.
Definitely.
That's a whole nother topic. But back to the war on drugs. Sorry, guys, for our rants.
No, I think these
hope
are
you
good
enjoyed
rants.
them.
Yeah,
I hope they enjoyed them.
I think these are good rants, man.
This actually goes well into the next section I have, which is
Okay.
alternatives. Several authors believe that the United States federal and state governments have chosen wrong methods for combating and distribution of illicit substances. Aggressive, heavy-handed enforcement funnels individuals through courts and prisons instead of treating the cause of addiction. The force of government efforts has been on punishment. By making drugs illegal rather than regulating them, the war on drugs creates a highly profitable black market.
Yes.
Jefferson Fish has edited scholarly collections of articles offering a wide variety of public health-based and rights-based alternative drug policies. In the year 2000, the United States drug control budget reached $18.4 billion, nearly half of which was spent financing law enforcement, while only 1/6 was spent on treatment. In the year 2003, 53% of the requested drug control budget was for enforcement, 29% for treatment, and 18% for prevention. The state of New York, in particular, designated 17% of its budget towards substance abuse-related spending. Of that, a mere 1% was put towards prevention, treatment, and research. In a survey taken by Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, it was found that substance abusers that remain in treatment longer are less likely to resume their former drug habits. Who would have thought?
No shit.
Of the people that were studied, 66% were cocaine users. After experiencing long-term inpatient treatment, only 22% returned to the use of cocaine. Treatment had reduced the number of cocaine abusers by 2/3. By spending the majority of its money on law enforcement, the federal government has underestimated the value of drug treatment facilities and their benefit towards reducing the number of addicts in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which to me should be a no-brainer.
Yeah, they said, 53%? Over half was spent on enforcement, which is just...
No, it was way more than that, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought they said 53%. I must be
Oh, you're right. 53%.
Still over half.
You were right.
That's pretty fucking sad, man.
Yeah, but I think in most states it's not that way. It's even more towards
It's even more. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
It's sad. So in short, the war on drugs is a failure.
Mm-hmm.
If we spent more money on treatment, we would have a much higher
rate of just
success.
Exactly.
Success. If you want to fight the war on drugs, we need better treatment.
Definitely. I guess I'll segue on to some more recent events. This was one that was recent. This is the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. So the goal of this is under the Biden administration. It is to decriminalize and deschedule cannabis to provide for reinvestment in certain persons adversely impacted by the war on drugs, to provide for expungement of certain cannabis offenses, and for other purposes. What I take from that is getting people out of prison and jail for just small weed crimes. It was
Okay.
passed by the House of Reps on April 1st, 2022, but it didn't get any further than that. Cannabis still remains a Schedule 1 drug under the Controlled Substances Act, which
Right.
is very sad.
Very sad.
So they got close, but
No
they didn't get
cigar.
fucking close enough. Yeah, keep smoking your good old nicotine.
Right.
One other thing I wanted to add, because to me, when I was researching this, I just thought instantly stop and frisk. Stop and frisk was,
Yes.
I'm going to get into real quick. The
Yeah.
stop and frisk
Talk about it.
program in New York City is a New York City Police Department practice of temporarily detaining, questioning, and at times searching civilians, that's what I kind of think of. And they're searching civilians and suspects on the streets for weapons and other contraband. There is definitely some racial profiling that has gone down. And on top of that, a large sum of people who were stopped were innocent. I'm going to tell y'all a 2017 statistic real quick. 90% of those who were stopped in 2017 were African American or Latino, mostly ages 14 to 24. Of those 90%, 70% of them who were stopped were later found to be innocent. So I segue this back to kind of the racial problem with the war on drugs.
Yes.
And also, why should you be able to stop me or someone else who was looking sketchy and you can just search us like
Yeah, that seems like an infringement on our rights.
on the Constitution?
Yes, I agree.
I personally think it's a load of horseshit.
100%.
I did see the statistics of the people who are being stopped and frisked, and they have gone down a fuckload in the past couple years,
That's
but
good.
it does still happen.
And disproportionately amongst minorities.
Yes, especially it's pretty disheartening to think about.
Oh, extremely.
Whether you're a colored person or not, it's fucking
It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't exactly. It should
shouldn't
not
matter
matter at all.
It's ridiculous.
I did want to do a little point on Switzerland because they have taken almost the opposite
Yeah.
as far as
Let's hear
our way of going on war on drugs. So here we go real quick. The core of the Swiss drug policy is based on health promotion, prevention, therapy, and harm reduction. The right to free choice of treatment is respected, and compulsory treatment for people who use drugs does not exist in Switzerland for adults as well as minors.
Okay.
So they have essentially decriminalized drugs to a big extent there, to where you can bring your package or whatever you got and get it tested. You can get clean needles there. And as far as I know, you have your own opinion. If you think that's a little much, I get it. But they have experienced some pretty good results from doing this. A lot of people who would
interesting.
do drugs are not doing drugs, or the people that are, at least they're doing it safely now.
That's
Be-
interesting.
There's no way to stop it, but if you can at least
I think if anything, that goes along with
Yeah.
the data they found and the
Exactly.
surveys I was talking about earlier that treatment is better, right?
it definitely in good treatment in that.
And hey, if someone's gonna do it, at least they'll do something safe, I guess, and they're not gonna OD. Yeah. So, I guess in short, the war on drugs is a complete failure.
It's fucking failed.
All it's done is funneled more money from the taxpayers. I feel like,
and
and
it's
put a bunch of people in jail who shouldn't be there.
not even
mostly minorities.
not even just funneled money into the taxpayers. It's funneled money into the cartel.
No, from the taxpayers. I'm saying
to the cartel.
it's
Yeah,
funneled money from the taxpayers
to the cartel.
It's
to
funneled yes, it has definitely empowered the cartels in Mexico. Yeah, it's insane. It's a huge mess.
definitely the war on drugs has failed, and that's about all y'all got for me. You got any other last notes you want to add in, Red?
That's all I got. And I feel like we've made our comments as
Mm-hmm.
we've went, and I hope to see things change in the future. I guess.
Definitely. And for audio listeners out there, I apologize. I dropped the bottle opener. It made a little sound.
I didn't even hear that. I didn't even hear it.
I don't know if it popped up on the mic, but I was
don't
trying
think
to
anyone
pop
heard it,
I was
man.
trying to pop open a couple more beers.
I think you're too self-conscious. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
They listen to my terrible voice. They don't care.
Oh man.
No.
You're doing good out here, Red.
Anyways, we thank you
yeah.
guys for listening.
Thank you. Check out the merch store.
And we'd love to hear some comments. Drop some comments. Let us know what you guys think. And if we missed anything, we do love to find more information about things.
We definitely did miss some things. It's a dense topic, but
yeah, we always try to condense topics. So, we got pretty opinionated, but that's how we feel. So, hey, thanks for listening, guys. I'm Red.
this is Jake.
Till next time.
See ya.